So the mayor is going to present this, but I'm going to read it off. It says, presented to the Town of Essex Parks and Recreation for making positive experiences for children a priority on the occasion of Parks and Recreation Ontario's 20th anniversary on March the 25th, 2015. Congratulations. Thank you. Now on to reports. Sorry, I need a motion to receive the report. Report H. Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Snively. All in favor? That's carried. Now we're on to Report A. Building Department, Report number 2015-03. Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Bjorkman. Any questions? Councillor Bjorkman, no. All in favor? That's carried. Next report is Planning Department Report number 2015-06, Site Plan Control Amendment, Lonsbury Brewery. Moved by Councillor Bondi, supported by Councillor Snively. Any questions? Comments? All in favor? That's carried. Item C, Community Services Report number 2015-005, Communities in Bloom Legacy Tree Program. Moved by Mayor McDermott, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any comments? All in favor? That's carried. Item D, Community Services Report number 2015-006, Special Events Resource Team, CERT, from April update. Moved by Councillor Bjorkman, supported by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? Councillor Bondi?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mr. Sweet over there. With the cancellation of the Shores of Erie, do you see that having, with liability issues, do you see that having an impact on events with alcohol in our municipality?
Through you, Deputy Mayor. We do have two representatives that sit on our CERT committee. We did ask them that question. They said as long as people still follow municipal alcohol policies, do their due diligence and follow the guidelines, they should not see other issues. However, until they know the outcome, what's currently going through the court system, I think people are waiting.
All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Report E, Community Services Report number 2015-007, Significant Event Status, 23rd Annual Colchester Walleye Derby. Moved by Councillor Snively, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? Sorry, Councillor Snively? Okay.
I just wanted to bring forward that we do follow up on the restaurant that's there and make sure that that's all taken into consideration that's taken place with the parking lot there. So we don't run into that problem that day. If we could do a follow-up to see how far he's gone with that. Maybe Doug can answer that. Or Chris, one of the two.
Through your worship, we can follow up on that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor? That's carried. Report F, Community Services Report number 2015-008, Significant Event Status for the 4th Annual McGregor Mug Run and International Beer Fest. Moved by Councillor Vokes, supported by Councillor Bjorkman. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Report G, or item G, I'm sorry, Community Services Report number 2015-009, Significant Event Status, 28th Essex Fun Fest. Supported by, or moved by Councillor Vokes, supported by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Item H has been taken care of. Item I, Planning Report Number 2015-04, Official Plan Amendment Number 5, Harrow Settlement Area Expansion and Land Use. Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Snively. Any comments or questions? Councilor Bondi?
Thank you. I know we were updated by email, just wondering if the planning department had a chance to meet with the Fourniers yet, or they're away, right? Okay, thank you.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I'm meeting with them on Wednesday.
Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Item J, Report Number 2015-02, Corporate Services, Procurement and Purchasing Policy, Revisions to Procurement Thresholds and Authorizations. Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Bjorkman. Question, Councilor Caxero.
Through you, Deputy Mayor Malash. Just one question on the procurement process for council approval. We moved it from 50,000 to 100, or we're looking to move it to 100,000. Is that based on the fact that I guess up to 50,000 we're using a formal request for tender, so it's basically allowing that 50 to 100,000 to be using the formal request for tender, and then above that it's council approval? Because I mean, just looking at across the county, and I don't know if we were using those numbers just as comparison, or just so we could see them as comparison, or if we were kind of basing what we were going to do on those numbers, but we were, in around anywhere from 25 to 150, the 150 being Windsor, obviously a lot bigger municipality as a city. I'm just wondering why the big jump.
Through you, Deputy Mayor, I think you're asking why we are going from 50 to 100 where others are below. I think if you look across the top of that schedule, you'll see that most of them have not reviewed their procurement policies for quite a number of years. That 50,000 for the town of Essex has been that way since 2005, and we're basically looking at inflationary factors and saying that that's closer to 100,000 now.
Any further questions? All in favor? That's carried. On to correspondence. First correspondence, an application for approval to expropriate land. Moved by Councilor Caxero, supported by Councilor Bjorkman. Any questions? Councilor Vokes? Not public information. I think you can get that answer, Councilor Vokes, yourself. Yeah.
Non-argumentally, but just in discussion, and I know there's protocols to follow, but I say it respectfully. We're here in this room because we want to be transparent. That's why those cameras are going. We want everybody to see what we're doing. And then when an issue comes up that we ask a question, we go, oh, can't talk about that. That's not for anybody here. So I don't know why it's on here, why it wouldn't be an in-camera issue to move to this next step. It's in camera in discussion, it's in camera everything else, but it's not in camera on a key decision such as this. And then when the questions are asked, you can't answer them. So I'm going to remain silent on this. I'm not going to do that.
Our CAO, Russ Phillips, has perhaps an explanation for you.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you, through the deputy. The negotiation process that had been followed has been always done through closed meeting. Any activity that involves negotiation or personal information or a named individual is always done during a closed meeting. That closed meeting has never come back, the information from that closed meeting has never come forward to a meeting of council during open session. Council directed administration, I believe, at a previous closed meeting to begin expropriation efforts on this particular parcel. And this is the first time of which you've seen in open session the expropriation portion or the application for the approval to expropriate land. This is the first time it's come forward in open session. It's unlawful to discuss anything that occurred during the closed meeting, although I believe everybody present at the table, certainly from council's perspective, recalls or remembers those discussions.
And if I could...
Thank you, Mr. Phillips.
If I could on that, because I was part and parcel of that. I was in that room that day. And I don't want to, if we can't be candid about it, then I don't want to ask for seeking approval here tonight. We should go back into camera and follow that protocol. I'm not going to approve to expropriate land and saying, well, that's not in camera, and then have a taxpayer say to me, oh, Randy, what was that all about? I go, oh, can't tell you. Can't talk about it. I'd love to, but I can't. Does anybody want to put themselves in that position politically? Why can't you talk to me, Randy? What's the big secret? Well, I can't tell you. Well, I'd like you to tell me stuff. I know, but I can't tell you. Does that make sense to anybody in this room? If it does, then go carry on. I'm sitting idle. I won't vote on it either way. But I think it should go back in
It's
camera.
protocol. It's done in every council chambers across the province, across North America. It's not something, it's procedure.
Just hey, look at it. If they jump off a cliff, they can jump off a cliff. I really don't care. It's protocol.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. We get your point.
It's not
We
a
get your point.
standard- It's not a
You've stated your
standardized
point, Randy.
procedure.
Yep.
It's not a standardized procedure.
Okay.
We can be flexible on it.
I don't think there's any flexibility to it, but CAOs,
Thank you, through you, Your Worship. It is not flexible. It is written in the Act, in the Municipal Act of Ontario, as to the how a closed meeting is to be conducted and the records that are kept thereof. A matter of this type, where you're negotiating on a price of the land to purchase the land, those conversations were always kept in closed meeting. By the fact that they've never come forward to an open meeting, they could, if you choose to do that, but you have not chosen to do that, so they have to remain closed.
And again, if I could, I don't want to sound like I'm arguing, because I am, right? But the truth is that we say all the other stuff we done was our choice to do it. That's what I just heard, right? It's been that we decide to follow that route. But on this, we decide to bring it out in the public. We'll air our laundry out here. I just don't get it, people. I don't. And I'd love to see where it says that you can do all this in camera, but when it comes to expropriation, you can do it publicly, but once you pass expropriation, you can't talk about it no more. Because I can't talk on the street tomorrow. Can I?
you can talk all you want about expropriation because it's in a public document. You just can't talk about price.
So when somebody says, hey, Randy, why'd they expropriate that? Can I talk about it? So I can tell them the cost was way too much? Oh, I can. One says yes, one says no.
That's an
Anyway,
opinion.
I'm done.
That's an
I
opinion.
think I made my position clear.
We understand that you don't like it, Randy, but which is good. You made your point. Thank you. You can choose not to vote on it too if you prefer. So I can't remember at this point if we have a motion.
Yes.
Oh, question. Councillor Caxero?
Through you, Deputy Mayor Meloche, just a point of clarification. it has to be done at a public meeting because we can't make a motion in camera, correct? Is that the purpose of having to bring this into an open note?
Through you, Deputy Mayor Malash, the notice for application for approval to expropriate land has to be done in an open meeting, under the direction, from the directions of our solicitor.
Any further questions? We do have a motion. Okay, all in favor of the motion? That's carried. Item C, under correspondence, Canada Post, closure on Saturdays only at McGregor, Ontario Post Office. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we were on B already. Okay, let's go back a step here. B, item B, Ministry of Citizenship, Immigration and International Trade, the Lincoln M. Alexander Award 2015. What's your desire on the correspondence? Motion by the mayor to receive, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Item C, Canada Post, closure on Saturdays only at McGregor, Ontario Post Office. Moved by Councillor Bondi, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? Councillor Caxero.
Through you, Deputy Mayor Malash, this is obviously in your ward. I don't know if do they know about it? Is there any feedback?
If you want me to answer that, yes, there's notices up on the post office, so people are coming in to get their mail. They're aware of it. There have been a few people that don't like it, but probably based on a lot of the conversations that have been happening in the community and what they're doing across Canada, a lot of them weren't surprised that it happened. Councillor Snively?
He's asked the same question I was going to ask you.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. We're just receiving the letter. Yeah, we're not acting on anything. You can. Yep. Councillor Caxero?
Certainly, I mean, and I would support it. We can receive the letter and make another motion to send a letter off to Canada Post expressing our displeasure.
I don't want to, give them any royalties of mail and stuff, or let them receive a letter, right? But I just want to let it be known to them for the record that when we sent this letter, that we didn't even want to receive it. Why are we receiving it? To pacify them? To make them happy? I would suggest we don't receive it. Send it back to them. We're not interested. All the time. We sit here and raise hell about stuff, and then they send us a rebuttal letter. We say, okay, we receive it. All right, then. Send it back to them. Return to sender.
Okay, Councillor Vokes has asked for a recorded vote. Still? To receive? Okay. We'll let our clerk go through that.
Councillor Vokes? Councillor Bjorkman? Councillor Caxero?
Support.
Councillor Snively?
Support.
Mayor McDermott?
If I support, is that to not receive it?
No, the motion was to receive it.
Okay, I support the motion.
Deputy Mayor Malash?
Support.
Councillor Bondi? With a recorded vote of 5 in support of and 2 opposed, motion is carried.
do we have any further motions on this correspondence that anybody wants to bring forward? Mayor McDermott?
I don't have any motion, Mr. Chair, but I would just like to say, it's not the only post office in the county, in our municipality, that will not be open on Saturdays. Essex Center is not open, you know. Who are we to tell Canada Post? You know, if someone came to our municipality and told us we had to hire 4 more people in, I don't care what department, the Treasury Department, you know, we'd say to them, mind your own business. This is our business. We're going to run our municipality the way we feel it needs to be run. And I think that's the same thing with Canada Post. They have proven very few people show up on a Saturday morning. So they think they can save money by closing it, maybe by closing our post office in McGregor on Saturday mornings is going to keep someone else's post office open on that same Saturday morning someplace else. So I don't know. I just don't feel we should be telling them how they should be running their business, you know, with regards to this matter. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Councillor Folks?
The intent of my position is not obviously, I get it. I do get it. I get the fact that it's a small little satellite post office. I get the fact that it doesn't generate a lot of money for them. But what I don't get is a federal service, that being Canada Post, doesn't have the opportunity or exercise the opportunity to talk to that gentleman right there and say, just so you know, Mr. Phillips and staff, to say we're seriously considering closing. It would take 5 minutes of their time on a direction from some, and I know Canada's a big place. I get all that. But they just send us a letter and go, oh, we're closing it. And then we ask them to send us a letter that really says why, with a breakdown, which they never do. And then they send us a letter say, we're closing it, and we just receive it. I'll leave it at that, because we could talk all night, and I respect everybody's positions.
Bonnie?
Thank you. When Mr. Phillips provided us with an email stating that Essex Center post office was closed on Saturday, I was frankly shocked that, you know, the biggest urban center in our municipality was closed on Saturday. So I thought if the McGregor Center post office was closed on Saturday, it might push residents into Essex Center to do their shopping and errands. Now, the only post office that we have operating in our municipality is the Harrow post office. So we better fight. We better fight to keep the Saturday hours in Harrow. My concern with Canada Post has always been their lack of empirical data when they make decisions. Mr. Mayor, I don't know what you were saying when you quoted "they have showed us," because all it says in here is Canada Post has conducted a review of customer traffic patterns. It doesn't give us any stats. Like from my other job, I know at the library, we have survey week. We count the number of bodies that come through the door. This just says we've reviewed customer traffic patterns. There's no numbers here, so they could be pulling any number out of their ass that they want to do. I also have concerns that they target smaller, more vulnerable populations. Perhaps the residents in McGregor cannot, you know, they cannot travel to Harrow Center or to Amherstburg or to Kingsville. So that's my worry, and it's just, you know, it's one thing after another. I'm really not surprised that the McGregor branch is closing on Saturdays, but it just seemed like a month ago we got the letter that we might be closing, and then this month it's like we're closed. So with a lack of empirical data, it makes it hard for one to support that.
Perhaps we should be asking Tad Wolonsky to come and explain. He's our Canada Post local area manager. The question that I would have is why not close on a Wednesday and keep Saturday open? I would think if you've got traffic patterns, you know, that you're basing it on traffic patterns, you're going to have more traffic on a Saturday than you are on a Wednesday or a Tuesday. Councillor Vokes.
What you requested, Deputy Mayor Melange, we done. Obviously, as a result of work Cheryl put into a letter to him. Mm-hmm. Right? It says very clearly there that extended an invitation for Canada Post to meet with council regarding this matter. They just send us a letter, says, nope, we're closing it. Don't even want to talk to us. so we mean nothing. So when they send us that letter to receive it, we get all warm and fuzzy and go, I want to receive it. I'd like to send it back to them. Just don't even acknowledge it.
We've received the letter, but we can react to it if we want to in any way, so. Do we want to react or not? No, you can still react. Okay, we're good? Going to move on. Finance Committee meeting of April 7th, 2015. Moved by Councillor Bondi, supported by Councillor Caxero. All in favor? That's carried. Coan Park Committee, February 17th meeting minutes. Moved by Councillor Bjorkman, supported by Councillor Caxero. Question from Councillor Bondi.
In the minutes, there's the town of Essex and the town of Amherstburg increased their committee members to 1 member of council plus 3 additional municipal lay persons. What implication does that have for us? Or did that pass at the committee level?
Committee members are not paid. It's just, and we had already done it in the previous term of council. I'm not sure why they're saying that they've changed the number. We did this in the last term of council. But no cost to us or anything. Any further questions? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaws. And I'm going to pass it on to Cheryl.
Bylaw number 1404, being a bylaw to delegate the duties and powers of the Council of the Town of Essex.
Moved by Councillor Caxero, supported by Councillor Snively. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried.
Bylaw number 1408, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the April 20th regular council meeting.
Moved by Councillor Bjorkman, supported by Councillor Caxero. Any questions? All in favor? That's carried. Nothing on financial, but new business. First item is Councillor Vokes, Winery Cafe.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Malash. Cheryl, would you, I see you're doing it. Thank you.
I just gotta find this one, please.
I had sent Cheryl an email today with 2 pictures on it of what a outside cafe could look like in downtown Essex. And there's that one there, and if you were to look at that one, the sidewalk that it sits on is no wider than our sidewalks downtown. Actually, probably the truth is it's a little bit narrower. So with that being said, is my request of council tonight is to look at opportunities to get as many as we can, but to say the least 4 of them, outside cafes downtown Essex, being supported by those in the business of the wine industry, working with the landlords of the empty storefronts we have down there, and then working with the town of Essex in terms of whether it can be rolled into the CIP plan somehow, whether it can be done through a structure of tax reprieve for the landlord, which goes right back into the business. I would really like to see the cafe set up in a style that have a Victorian style railing around it, some nice awnings cascading such as that, some nice awnings cascading off it with the Victorian style seating and nice landscaping. And I have this vision of 4 or 5 outside cafes downtown serving our local wines from our local business, along with some light lunches and pastry opportunities. And then as a result of that being there, I would also like to believe there would be opportunity to bring on somehow a horse and carriage where you can pick people up at the wineries or wherever they may be staged, take them to our murals, take them to hopefully the silo development one day, thinking outside the box a little bit, definitely take them to the Spitfire. And we all know that the town of Essex has a rich history to it. But not only should this be done in the urban center of Essex, the opportunity should be extended to the urban center of Harrow. And that's what we can put ourselves on the map for being known for. I like to believe people going down number 3 bypass knew if they could sit at outside cafes and take in tours on a nice summer night, would come in. And we all know that people love people watching. So if we could get the cafes set up or stimulate something to get the cafes out there, with that would come the old cars, the enthusiasts with their motorcycles, the people walking downtown. It really is a win-win if we can make it work. And at the end of it, if we don't make it work, we tried. It's about the initiation, right? And more so the initiation is succeeding at it. And then as we stand today, which we never had prior to this, is we do have financial funding because we have $229,000 sitting in a reserve right now waiting to use to enhance the downtown corridor. And I wouldn't suggest to anybody that we spill all that money into this project. But if there is a need be for some monies, small in nature, that financial opportunity is there. So I am going to ask council to support this initiative. And obviously we need a starting point. And that starting point would be for administration, direct administration, to have some dialogue with the winery owners of our intent. And then if there's good feedback from that, then we can move it along. So I'll leave it at that. I think it's very clear what we would like to see out of it. And I'd be very interested to see what the balance of council would like to say. Because the truth is, people, we all know the downtown corridor is in need of an influx of something. I think this would fit. I think it would.
I have Councillor Snively.
Yeah, to Councillor Bogues, I think that's a fantastic idea, and I would support administrative staff to look into this and see what we have to do to move forward on this. I think it's a great idea. It really is. It would enhance our downtown. It would draw people in both areas, Harrow and Essex. I would support it 100%, Councillor Bogues.
Councillor Bjorkman.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I had some conversation actually with the winery, with the Epic past president, and just to get an idea of what we could do with the wineries that are in our town. We're not talking about bringing in from outside. We're talking about a benefit to the four corners of our town. And if we could find a way to bring those people into our centers, into Harrow Center, into Essex Center, it benefits everybody in our community. So I think it's a great initiative. A good way to look into is there some way to repurpose some of these properties that really are languishing. Again, we're not looking to pay the whole shot for these things, but is there a way for us to work with them and create a program? So I'd be greatly in favor of that initiative.
So we're giving direction then to our administration?
If I could get the support of council to give direction to administration to start the discussions, if you will, I'll make that a motion.
So motion by Councillor Folks for direction for administration to start the ball rolling on some type of planning for this, outdoor cafe wineries, and supported by Councillor Snively. Any questions from the rest of council? All in favor? Carried unanimously.
Thank you, council.
Yes. If council would allow me to talk on the issue, and it's about the fire permits.
Larry?
Through you.
Sorry. This is under new business, and you want to talk about something that's new business?
Yeah, I just wanted to know I'm getting a lot of feedback on the fire permits, okay? The size of the fires and
Okay. Can I drag you in at the end? Other
Sure.
people have, because other people have already
Okay.
put their names forward
That's
to
fine.
talk about
Yeah,
your
that's
business. Okay, so up next was Councillor Bondi, or Councillor Kexer? Bill, sorry, Councillor Kexer.
Through you, Deputy Mayor Malash, just a couple of PR announcements with respect to some events that are coming up. I know it's been announced already, we do have a spring cleanup coming up May 2nd in all 4 centers. The cleanups are going to be from 9:30 to 11:30. Lunch is going to be provided in each of the centers. In Colchester Center, Frosties and Eats and Treats are going to be providing lunch. In Harrow Center, DPM is going to provide the lunch, and it's going to be at the Legion. In Essex Center, the BIA is going to provide the lunch, and it's going to be at the Legion. And in McGregor Center, Deputy Mayor Richard Malash is going to provide the lunch, and it's going to be at the Community Center. Next, this Wednesday, Earth Day Tree Legacy Program being carried out in all 6 elementary schools. It's the 2nd year of the program, and seems like it was fairly successful the first year. The next item is Communities in Bloom. We're going to have a judging again this year. Judging is going to take place from July 21st to the 23rd. We're using the sunflower as, I guess, the flower we're pushing, and the packets of seeds will be distributed to each of the elementary school kids at those tree plantings on Wednesday. And they will be available also at specified locations throughout the municipality. Those locations haven't been shored up yet, so Doug Sweet will have that information in the near future if anybody wants to contact him. Lastly, our ACT committee, which is the new committee that replaced the mural committee, one of the members has come up with an idea for a summer concert series. That's going to be carried out in 2 of the centers, in Essex Center and Colchester Center. It's going to start about mid-June. Monday nights in Colchester Center, Wednesday nights in Essex Center. I believe they're still looking for local talent to perform, and I believe in Colchester Center it'll be down in the Jackson Park area, and at Essex Center it's going to be over by the train station. So we're hoping that it gains some momentum. I believe the idea is to eventually have these nights, and it's going to run for about 8 to 10 weeks, so every week, same nights, and the idea is going forward to possibly have it set up in all 4 centers in the summer. So hopefully to draw some people into our communities and get that tourism dollar, I guess, into our boundaries. That's all I have.
Thanks, Bill, for that important community information. Councillor Bondi.
Thank you. I'm sure many on council already know this, but a youth in the Harrow community has just been awarded an $80,000 scholarship. So I was wondering if council would invite Sandra Smelter to council, and we can congratulate her publicly. And I think any positive media we can bring to the Harrow community right now is good media. So as we know, Sandra won a scholarship, 1 out of 50 Schultz or Shook Leadership Scholarships in Canada, so 1 out of 50. It's only the 2nd scholarship in Essex County and the first female. She's a 97% average, and she's heading into engineering at Queen's this September. So I think it's a really big deal, like $80,000. It's an amazing scholarship. So I'd like administration to send an invitation to to Sandra Smelter, and have her come to council perhaps in May, and we can present her whether with a signed card or a little small plaque, and we could take it out of my discretionary budget, and we can congratulate her publicly, because I think it's a big deal.
Thank you, Councillor Bondi. Okay, so that's direction?
Yes. Do I need a motion? Okay.
Councillor Snively.
Yeah, through you, Deputy Mayor, and this is a question for Rick, our fire chief. I've had a lot of feedback from our burn bylaw, okay, especially from the farmers. I understand you're going to put something, a correction in the paper?
Through you, Your Worship. We've done an article last week with the Essex Free Press. The Windsor Star said permits were needed for everything, and that was incorrect. So we did an article last week. We've been talking to people, answering the phones, and going out and doing inspection of permits. What we're looking for is, it hasn't changed. The rural area, if they're going to have a fire larger than 3 by 3 by 3, they still need to call in and obtain permission to have a fire. In the urban areas, which is bonfires, it's 2 by 2 by 2, and they don't need to call to get permission to have a fire.
I understand that, Rick. Did we put anything in the Herald News? This is where I'm getting all the feedback from the farmers in the Herald area. That's.
And we haven't had a chance, through you, Your Worship, we haven't spoke with the Herald News, but I was going to talk to Heather tonight.
Okay, thank you. And one other question through you, Deputy Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I think this might be for Donna or Cheryl. We have a resident in the Herald area that's going to turn 100 years old, Fred Johnson. And I was just wondering, they called in. Didn't a gentleman call in, Donna, and talk to you?
Through you, Your Worship, yes, actually, he came in and brought me the information. I provided that to our clerk, Cheryl Bondi, and I believe the arrangements have been made to present something to him at that dinner.
Okay, because I will be attending that dinner, and if there's something I could present him, I would be happy to do that on council's behalf. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. And Clerk Bondi here has said that that's been taken care of. With that, I believe we are finished for the evening, so I'll ask for adjournment. Moved by Councillor Snively, supported by Councillor Caxero. All in favor? That's carried. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out.